There is a meme that I saw on LinkedIn, not on LinkedIn, I think it was on some other social
Another app,
platform. Yeah.
yes.
And these guys were like, y'all are saying that Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter is depressing. Have you all tried LinkedIn? Yeah, everybody has a BMA, an MCMC,
Yes.
WEXYZ
They
in
just
something.
graduated. They just
Yeah,
got a new job.
15, 20 years of experience. When you look at the person's job, date of birth, they were born in 19, they are 2000 and kids. Yeah, but they have 15 years experience. And
Yes.
then you wonder, where did they get it from? They're friends you have, and you start seeing them in high-end places, and you're like, I used to know that person. Yeah, fake friends. but
Are
but
we
but
circling back to that topic?
huh?
We're circling back to it.
I do
Okay.
like fake friends, but then, me, I will be okay whenever. It's very funny how I console myself. Yeah, if I see a person that I would call a fake friend, I would call out myself and I'm like, have you elevated to what they're doing? And if my answer is no,
Oh, that's good.
yeah, I'm like, no, then they are not a fake friend. Actually, you are the fake friend, because you are deliberately refusing to move at the same pace that your friend is moving at.
Oh, that's a deep insight.
Hello and welcome to the first episode of Dreams in Motion, this beautiful 2024. I am your host, Alan Hubbard, and I am with an amazing person who's going to be telling us who she is. This is somebody that I chased literally, quite literally, in 2023 to sit down and have a conversation with, because she has a big sort of head that has interesting things to share. You're going to be hearing her sharing just shortly. Our mantra has not changed this new year. Yeah, these conversations are for those who haven't made their first million just as yet. If you have made your first million, it's okay. You could just move on. Yeah, because you might not be able to relate with what we're saying. Yeah, but you could make sure that you share this conversation with somebody that you know they're still struggling to make their first million. So go ahead and like and subscribe and share this. This year we are putting up sort of an ambitious goal. Last year we started sometime back in April last year, and we set a goal to have 500 subscribers on the channel. We achieved that at around second week of December, and this year we want to set even a bigger target for ourselves. We want to see if we can make it to 5,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. So you can be a part of this journey, and we can celebrate you at the end of this year. So please, I request you should subscribe, because you're going to be finding value from this conversation. And I hope you've had a beautiful Christmas holiday. You're well rested. Yeah, you saved up some money. You're not going to start talking about in January and all of that. Yani, history in January is a cliche. Yeah, we're supposed to stop talking about it. But I also do not want to be hard on you. If you aren't able to, I know you have a couple of friends wale nisaidie mi ya haraka haraka. I hope they will come out for you or through for you. So without further ado, let me give the opportunity to our guest to introduce herself. She tells us what she does, and probably some of the things that she's looking to talk to you about in this episode. Karibu.
Thank you, Alan.
Yes.
So my name is Angela Wanjiku.
Yes.
I am the founder of an inclusive clothing brand known
Yes.
as Hisi Studio.
Yeah.
And I would say I am an adaptive clothing designer. I am a champion for persons with disability,
Yeah.
and especially for their participation in the creative economy. Yes.
Okay. That's quite a mouthful. what should people expect from this conversation?
I believe we'll be talking about inclusion and why inclusion matters,
Yeah.
and especially why it matters in all spaces. In the bigger spaces around education, around health, and even in the smaller spaces around activities such as dressing and mobility that perhaps look too small
Yeah.
but still are integral to what makes a wholesome person.
If they missed in the puzzle, that puzzle wouldn't be complete.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. You had quite a blastful. Before you even start, I start asking you how your New Year is or how your Christmas was. You had a blastful 2023. Yeah, a lot was happening. I'm gonna practice some discretion. I'm not going to put out some of the conversations that we that we've had because you'll be like, Alan,
You know what you want to say.
You decided to snitch on me on live on,
No, no,
on
no.
live.
You can go ahead and just put that one out. I know the one you're itching
Okay.
to get to.
No, probably it's not that one. Let me give you the opportunity to snitch on yourself. How was your 2023?
Oh, it was a crazy, beautiful year.
Yeah.
I know it started with crazy, but the beauty was right there next to the crazy.
The crazy, yeah.
Wild, amazing spaces we were in. People we met in the year, from persons with disability to dignitaries, rooms we were in, conversations we had, and impact we made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now give break down these activities. The persons with disabilities. Who are the people that you met that really stood out for you? There is a story that you shared about students in Meru. Yeah, you could talk about that and probably the dignitaries and sort of the events that you participated in.
So, as Hisi Studio, we mainly work towards inclusion for visually impaired persons in fashion,
Yeah.
providing them with clothing that answers to their needs and rethinks what their needs are around fashion. So, that includes having braille on the pieces we produce, as well as accessible tags on the garment. When the user buys it, they're able to scan it and it speaks to them about the description of the garment, the color, the size, the material, and all of that. That is meant to foster their dignity and independence while shopping and dressing up. So, our most very important people, our VIPs, are actually VIPs, visually impaired persons.
Yeah, yeah.
And those are who we got to meet.
Yeah.
Above all the dignitaries we met, our VIPs are the people who consume what we produce.
Yeah.
And the most intriguing person I met last year was, there were two girls.
Yeah.
So we had joined Johari Africa for a White Cane Drive on the 20th of October. And we happened to have a few t-shirts with us. And it wasn't like it was supposed to be for the children really, because we don't yet have children sizes. But I had a small size t-shirt with me. And we gave it to the winner of a small dance competition. And what happened was, once the t-shirt with the braille was handed over to the child, she went on to give it to the teachers who were curious to see what was this t-shirt about. And from the tent I was seated across the children and the school staff and faculty. And I could see the excitement it caused. For a minute, the MC could not control the children again.
Yeah.
They were excited about this t-shirt that they could touch. It was tactile. It had features they could read. Oh, it was beautiful to watch that. So now the girl receives the t-shirt and she wears it. And all along, she was with a friend. They had been dancing together, moving around together, which is characteristic of schools for children with disabilities, that they will pair the children together. So they spent the day together, but later in the afternoon we ran into the same two girls and they had switched. their t-shirts because they wanted to shine this one piece that was so inclusive, and that remains a highlight in my memory of 2023 and the people we met. We've met many more visually impaired persons at forums we've been, and they've interacted with our pieces with something I like to call the joy of inclusion. It's the moment when a visually impaired person is reading the text, the braille text on our pieces, and you can see the joy in their face, their features changing, and the appreciation that I am included. Someone thought of me. That has been one of our highlights of the people we met. Yeah.
That's quite an empowering story, and you've taken me back in when I was in primary school myself. I had these people that I had to collaborate with. Not that I really liked them, but circumstances. But
Wow.
circumstances, yeah. I hope that does not come off bad, but circumstances had to pair us together, yeah. And I say circumstances because of my visual impairments to some extent.
Yes.
I could not sit or see properly at the blackboard. So I developed a skill to be very quick in writing when a teacher is dictating.
Sure.
And for all my compadres who sat around me, they were very slow, and they had to rely on this guy who did not see properly but had the ability to write fast for them to write their notes. And I think it was very integral in me developing my language very quick fast, because a teacher, I would not wait on the teacher to give us the spelling of a word. I would find an alternative word to replace that would mean the same thing. So every time the teacher would mark my book for notes to check if I have notes, I'll be like, but Alan, I did not use this word. And I'm like, okay, teacher, did I get it right though? Yeah.
Wow. The confidence right
Yeah,
there.
I'm like, what matters the most? Yeah, what matters the most? Is it me having the notes, or is it me writing the notes the way you gave them to me?
Yeah.
And yeah, I was termed as a stubborn student, but they couldn't do much as well. So when you share that story of the two girls and the kind of things that they had to do for each other, I relate to some extent. The other thing that I would like to your skeptical sharing. I don't know if it's skepticism.
Not really. Not really. We're pacing ourselves.
Okay, so pacing is very important. December, you are a part of the Innovation Week. And I bring in this conversation because many people might be wondering, clothes, innovation, what new thing can you invent? Or what new innovation can you bring in with clothes? As you're sharing your experience at the Innovation Week, which was in early December, how would you qualify Hisi Studios and the work that you guys do as an innovation that is indeed needed?
So first, as I had mentioned,
Yeah.
our clothing has braille on it that's tactile and readable.
Yeah.
And within the region, we're the first to do it. So this is groundbreaking pieces of clothing we're putting out.
So basically, that's why it's an innovation.
That is one of
Yeah.
the
Okay,
bits
one.
of it.
Okay.
And then now we go further and help our consumers identify the clothing. And this we do with integrating mobile phone assistive technology,
Yeah.
the feature talkback. So once a user who's using a smartphone scans our code, then it's read out to them. And this is not being practiced by so many other brands.
Yeah.
So we're innovative and we're leading a groundbreaking way to consume fashion and a way of expression that has not been given to persons who are visually impaired,
Yeah.
as we help them communicate their phrases dear to them, phrases they can relate with in a language and a code that they use, that is their own. Yeah.
Interesting. As you're talking there, I'm looking at a plausible partner, Vivo, the woman brand. Probably they do not. Women who are visually impaired want to wear their clothes, but because they do not have access to information about these clothes, and they never go with these particular types of clothes, and there are women with visual impairments, or women with visual impairments can afford these clothes.
Yeah.
So them not having access to these pieces of clothes would be a limitation. Oh my goodness, I'm looking at so many opportunities. 'Cause
Yes,
even yeah,
that is one of the services we'd like to step in to
Yeah.
offer to also other fashion brands,
yeah,
and also around how fashion is consumed from the process of shopping and dressing up.
yeah,
We're looking to help skill workers in fashion around sensitivity to visually impaired persons
yeah,
and persons with disability. So, your customer service department, how should they handle or treat a client who comes in who's deaf, who's visually impaired? That's also something that would enable inclusion in fashion consumption.
yeah,
The part around shopping. It's essential that we find clothes,
yeah,
but how we go around it is either how we lock out certain people or how we welcome and bring them to participate in what fashion is. And there's so much beauty in fashion. And maybe I'm
It's a
biased
whole
as a fashion designer,
it's a
but
whole expression.
it's a whole expression. It's
Yeah.
a whole beautiful world. And there's so much to it that we can now help other people to come in and participate fully. Yeah.
Interesting. There is a conference that I was at in 2021, a couple of years ago, and I asked the lady who is in charge of that conference, and I'm like, why is this important that you do this type of work, or what is your why? And she answered so bullishly, and she was like, why not?
Yes.
Yeah, why not? I hope that is not the answer that I'm going to get when I ask you this question. Where does this journey start from, and why?
So my journey starts with my hometown. I grew up in Thika. I have lived in Thika for most of my childhood years and now my adult years. So at the time in 2018, I was in my final year of university, and I was trying to think and wonder. So there's this skill set that I've learned. There's all this education I've received, all these experiences I have gotten from uni. How will they be relevant to the people back home? So I'll help you understand that design wasn't a popular choice for my parents. They supported it, but it wasn't the first thing they thought out for me.
They would have wished that you did.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they're supportive to a fault. They will ride, they have ridden with me through many decisions I have pursued. And that is generally the tone with most people around where I grew up. Design, there isn't a high appreciation for design or art. And now that I was doing something that was so countercultural from where I came from, I felt a deep need for it to be relevant. So as I looked at the community I had interacted with in Thika, my mind stilled at the school for the visually impaired, school for the blind, the primary school and the secondary school.
Yeah.
And I began to wonder, how do they consume fashion? How do they go about dressing? How do they go about shopping? How do they go about identifying what's on the garment? And those questions stayed with me that I made them my research questions for my project paper. Yeah.
But I believe it goes beyond just the research paper.
Yes.
Now the research paper is done. Now you have to, and it's interesting that finally I get to talk to somebody who is doing something in relation to their research paper, because I've always been asking people that you can't tell me that most of the challenges that we have in our country, we do not have research papers at universities that can solve these problems. Yeah. And I even went ahead and with a crazy thought, and I'm like, how about we created a competition at our universities and say, let us seek out research papers that have talked about decongesting Nairobi, and let's have a
nice.
competition for that. And the best research paper, the government funds the project, or as a pilot project.
Yes.
One, the graduate has gotten employment.
Sure.
Two, we are encouraging home-based solutions.
Yes.
Yeah, and we do not have to go to the west or the east or south or even north of fossil
Like the direction.
Yeah, I think north is upwards. Where is south? South, north,
Struggle
whatever.
not. Just
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So then, how do you take it from research? As a research paper from my uni, you're like, let me just do this thing, nimalize hii story ya masomo. Then how do you graduate it to the next level that now you are, I would say, one of the most sought after inclusive brands in the country, if not only the only one.
high compliment, that one. So right after, actually in the middle of my exam, my final exam,
Yeah.
and in design school they're called pin-up. So in the middle of my pin-up, a cousin of mine sent me an application for a program around fashion, entrepreneurship, mentorship kind of thing. And I don't know whether this speaks ill of my manners, but I did not really read keenly what the poster said.
Yeah.
And I applied. I sent in the photos I had of my creations and all the details I had for this project I was creating.
Yeah.
So about a week to graduation, I got shortlisted for the program. And I showed up for the interview. And 2 questions in, the interviewer was very sure that I did not meet the qualifications. And the main qualification I had missed to read was that the program required that those signing up would have businesses that had run for 2 years. So she shut her laptop and just asked me to tell her my story because I was already there. And I don't know by what kind of favor or grace she felt inclined to want to hear me out. And I told her about what I was trying to create.
Yeah.
Clothing that would include visually impaired persons. And she was really amazed and intrigued that she went on to the program coordinators and asked that I would join the program. She thought that I would be a great fit for what they were going to be teaching the entrepreneurs in that course. And that helped me now start out my business and see it as a business, something that could now become a business and a clothing brand. Yeah. And 3 weeks to graduation, 3 days to graduation, I was sitting in a room with other women entrepreneurs who had just gotten into the course. Yeah.
Wow. So that conviction alone and the power of showing up.
Yes.
You're like, okay, forget about the rules. Some of these rules have to be broken. Yeah. For us
But I
to-
didn't know. I plead ignorance on that one.
Yeah. Interesting. But probably, I think it was a blessing in disguise because
Yes, it was.
if you had read the 2 years business sort of acumen or something, or having a business that has been running for the past 2 years, you'll be like, oh my goodness,
I did
I
not
did
meet
stand a
it.
chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you not reading that entire pamphlet or poster, it was the best thing that happened to you. We are in a new year. What are you looking forward to, or what you've been doing in 2023? How is that changing in 2024, or are you staying on track and doing the same thing?
So 2023 marked 1 year in business.
Yeah.
Because we resumed operations in November of 2022 after having
pandemic.
taken an academic hiatus. And 2023 showed me so many things, and it set direction for what we're going to be doing now in 2024, which was around amplifying our advocacy and awareness campaigns. We're keen on continuing to collaborate with OPDs, and some of them that we worked with in 2023, including an NGO for deaf young women in South Sea called Fedwen. We also had collaborated with Black Albinism, which we hope to also continue in partnership with as work towards fashion for change. Something else we're keen on to see through 2024 is improving and growing our collection range. We've dropped a few pieces in the year 2023, but we hope to now bring in new collections with larger product offering, larger options for dressing up. Yeah, those are the two main things we're looking to do. And probably the third would be to expand into our mission around participation of persons with disability in the creative economy. So setting up a space where we can teach skills of beadwork, screen printing, your basic manufacturing, clothing processes. Yeah.
Interesting. Then how do you keep track? What I would ask is, how do you keep track of the people that you collaborate with? Because it is important that you work with people to take your brand onto the next level. How then do you identify? You've spoken about Fed Wayne, you've spoken about Black Albinism, and any other person that would come along the way. And I ask this because at the start of a new year, everybody's like, I have 12 months to be doing this thing. How am I staying afloat? There's things that I can do on my own, and there are things that I would definitely need, I will say it as it is, to ride on other people's backs. Yeah.
Well, that's the truth, yeah.
Yeah. Which are some of the things that you look out for in basically collaboration? So to make my question a little bit more straightforward, what do you look out for when you're striking partnerships? They could be pro bono to some extent, or there could be money involved. What are some of the things that you look out for?
One, it's very important for us to understand what the other partner's mission is. And whenever our mission and values align, then we're able to come in and work together. And that's when now we can talk of either pro bono or commercial work.
Yeah.
But depending on how much the collaboration advances our own mission, just to be
selfish, yeah,
we now jump in and decide how much we're putting into that partnership. Yeah. So bottom line is, what do we achieve, and can you help us achieve it? And are you ethically working around what we are working towards? And we're especially keen to work with organizations that are women-led and youth-led. So that's another part we look into. And people who are actually open and actively wanting to make impact. Because they're, perhaps forgive me for saying that, the people who are just in the game for personal gain.
Yeah.
And personal interests, but we're keen on people who are keen on community and driving impact within the communities they're serving, no matter how small. As long as impact is channeling out of them, then we're keen on working together.
Interesting. Probably true or not, but women-led organizations, you'd hear the story of the founder and they would tell you, I'm doing this because of a child I have, I'm doing this because of the children. You would hear youth and they would be like, yeah, I'm doing this for the fellow young people who are not able to start, or who do not have the opportunity to do such a thing. You know, when it comes to business, sometimes people tell you, just put it as it is. It's either you're making money or you're not making money. And one of the biggest challenges that we youth-led initiatives or businesses, we sort of struggle to find the balance of making money and also creating impact. I think that is something, that is an animal that most youth struggle with. Yeah. You need the money to do your daily activity, pay the bills and all of that, but also you feel so strong about community.
Yes.
So, and from hearing what Hisi Studio does, probably somebody might not understand then, how does Wanjiku make money at the end of the day? Yeah. And how does she keep afloat a team, if there is a team that you're working with? So what would you have to say from that point of view?
It is quite important that we understand what our organizations are meant to do. So for us, we're first a business, a commercial clothing brand.
All right. Very
So
important.
commerce is one of the first things that we're
Looking out
about.
for, yeah.
Yes. So that's how we generate our income. And then in terms of impact, which is a space we're now growing into from now our lessons in 2023, we're now looking forward to applying ourselves for grants and such like opportunities that would now be able to fund most of our, let me say, passion projects that are around income.
Yeah.
So for us, it's important that we define who we are as first a commercial brand, and then impact follows.
Yeah.
So our commerce sustains our impact. Yeah.
So then it is very deliberate for it's supposed to be very deliberate for the person who is behind the organization to know that, hey, this is what we are after. But if we get this, then we are committed to making sure that we also get to achieve this.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Young and building businesses, and I do not want to repeat a sort of cliche statements, but being young, being a woman, sometimes it's hard building a business, and a business that okay, I wouldn't say that the fashion business is male dominated here on the African continent or even on Kenya. It might be both ways, yeah.
Yeah.
But how then do you rise up and say, okay, this is something that I'm going to do? And this I ask because there might be a lady who is doing something in their house, and they're so skeptical, they're so scared to go out there and communicate it to the world. How do you manage to wake up every morning and your neck is up high with conversations with hard? Probably that is not the situation, but but how do you always make sure that you show up, because showing up is the most important thing? Yeah.
So I don't say it's simply or minimize what my answer is, but it's simply finding a locus outside yourself that now drives you. Because your emotions and feelings, if you depend on them to be the drivers of your, again, let me say drive or ambition or goal,
Yeah.
then they will fall short. Always they will fall short.
There won't be enough.
But if the locus of your drive and your motivation is outside yourself, then you'll be able to wake up daily looking forward to that, because it's not dependent on your feelings that change or your emotions that shift with the wind, but it's dependent on something a bit more solid. And one of my key pillars is God. When I understand that my talents, my time are not my own, they're His, and I'm answerable to Him, that gets me out of bed straight, real quick, that I am in service and
Yeah.
I am an ambassador of Christ in what I am doing. Then my smaller feelings and emotions,
They have to be put aside.
they have to be put aside, and I march on. And having God as one of my first pillars also gives me strength, that I'm able to encourage myself in the Lord, in the work that I'm doing. And then second is what I've told you, the joy of inclusion. When I see that smile on someone's face, I want to live again to see another
Another
person smile.
Yeah.
Another person get their braille book that would allow them to access education. Someone else get a white cane that would allow them to move independently. And that joy of inclusion is another thing that really, really drives me. So if you find your pillar or your focus or your locus, then it will be slightly easier to get up.
I don't know if the words that you've used are the ones that resonate so much with me, but I think that is, I've never looked at it that way. because most people say, oh, just find motivation, just have a good enough reason. There is a way that most of the times people try to make it more about us, and we forget that sometimes it's not even about us.
No.
And I rarely quote the Bible, but there is something about gifts. Yeah,
Yes.
that the gifts that I've given you, sometimes they're not just for you,
Yes.
but they are also for the people that are around you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even that understanding that probably this is not for me, but I'm doing it for the people that are around me.
Yeah.
I think it's very powerful. But even as you're doing things for people around you, then don't you become empty to some extent? Don't you feel like, then if I'm pouring myself out for other people, even if you're not quite literally pouring yourself out, but you're pouring the work and your time into something that will benefit somebody else, then who in turn pours into you? Does this ever come to you? And if it does, how do you deal with it?
Yeah, it has come to me, and it has been a challenge previously. Among the reasons around my academic hiatus
Yeah.
was also a personal hiatus as well from the business, because I'd gotten to a point that I was running low. And as I've told you, we're a commercial brand, and I'm a creative lead for the brand. And for me, creating is integral to what I do. And with creating, you need quiet time. If you're outside and you're buzzing around and you're networking and you're meeting people, you're not, it means there's time you're spending not creating.
Yeah.
So I drove from my creative sense of self to have quiet time. So I might be pouring into others, but I create moments for myself to just be quiet and mostly be still with God. I I'm not. Let me push you back into the Bible.
It's okay. It's okay. Hallelujah. It's the beginning of the
Let me
year.
push you back into the Bible.
Yeah.
My faith is a big part of what I do, and actually, you might ask this later, but one of the most life-changing books I've read this last year, 2023, was the book Faith Driven Entrepreneur. And it talks about a creative and what their senses are and what their purpose is to then now be an entrepreneur. And quiet time and communing with God is a big part of that, because he tells us that he has everything we require, including that which people cannot give us. He's able to give us. So God is firstly who I look up to fill my cup first. I've also surrounded myself with friends and family that are able to support me and make me have a wholesome life outside the work that I do, pouring into others. I'm very intentional about my hobbies and my time away from my work, which I have created with a lot of difficulty and struggle there.
Yeah.
The work-life balance it's not always easy to close down
Yeah.
work and
Some
say,
experts have said it's a scam.
to a degree, yet. I'm not quite out of the rabbit hole yet, that whole,
Yeah.
but being intentional about setting time, that this is my fun time, this is my quiet time, this is my time away from work. Those moments allow me to then have my cup refilled. And especially hobbies like hiking. You'll find me out hiking, and that's one of my key priorities in the coming year. Yeah.
Okay. Probably you'll share where you would be wanting to go, so that we could even start a hiking sort of group off of the channel. Yeah.
Wow.
You never know. Yeah, you never know. It's the new year, and this is something that I had told myself not to talk to people about when they come on this channel, on the show, but I'm going to do it either way. at the beginning of every new journey or every other new year, we talk about resolutions. Yeah. I'm going to do it a little bit different and request you
Okay.
to look back when 2023 was starting and what are some of the things that you told yourself. And given that December was just the other day, were you able to achieve all of them? And also this, okay, probably not achieve all of them because you're like, wow, I wanted to have a Range Rover, I do not have that just as yet.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, probably we start there, and then I will ask my second question or my follow-up question for that.
Okay, could you say that again?
When you look back in January 2023, and now we're just a few days past December, were you able to achieve most of the things that you said that you're going to do in 2023?
Yes, I was able to achieve most of them.
Could you pinpoint some of them and tell us which stood out the most for you?
Okay, so one of them was around getting our first avenue of sales. So for the first 6 months of the year 2023, we did not have products on any shelves, even our own. So it was a matter of releasing a collection and setting up a successful campaign for the work, and then also participating in markets, pop-ups, and even getting stocked in our shop, which we got done. So in June we released our first collection of teas, braille teas, the Wade in the Water collection, and the campaign for it was done by a youth-led creative team, and it was shot and featured persons with disability in the campaign as models for the work. And then we got to participate in pop-up markets at the village market, and eventually got a stockist in Lavington, where you can find some of our products. That was a big goal I had set for myself and the business.
Yeah.
Also, we had a goal to grow our audience and really engage with people, actually meet people physically and get to talking with them. And this happened in March. So January, March,
Yeah.
we had achieved at least that one goal. And this was during the Nairobi Design Week, where we had a groundbreaking installation, a braille installation, where audiences could come in and learn braille, just the fundamental alphabet, and then those are huge board. They could now place in the letters they had learned to spell out words, and we got a lot of engagement, and it became what has stirred up our advocacy and awareness program and platform. Yeah, so those two. Should I go on?
Give us a third. 3 is always a charm. Yeah, the number 3 is always a charm.
So the third resolution I had set might not have been for the business, but myself.
Yeah.
As I started, I said I am an advocate and a champion for rights of persons with disability, and I wanted to be able to become more vocal about this thing I'm passionate about and help people understand why it is important that we include people. And I got opportunities to actually speak at events and be a speaker, and it's something that I will continue pursuing in the new year, around speaking, public speaking, and going beyond my comfort zone, because I'm not always comfortable with the engagement. I'm a little weirded out by my voice, but I'm getting comfortable around those things.
See how you've started the year, honestly.
Yes. So yes,
Yeah.
I'm grateful for the people that trusted me with their platforms,
Yeah.
with their stages, to be able to continue driving these conversations around inclusion. Yes.
Interesting. Now to the main question.
Those are main questions.
No,
Yes, that was question number 2.
yeah, there was question number 2. Now to the main question. Looking back at 2023 and all the things that you had set out to do, which by the way, congratulations for you to be able to have achieved most of what you set out to do. Then as you're setting your 2024 goals, what are you doing different? Yeah. Either to achieve even more than what you achieved in 2023, because most of the things that you've said, or the 3 things that, not even most, the 3 things that you've said, to me they sound as not a one-off thing that you do, yeah, that you set out to do in a single year and you do not do it again. Because looking for clients, yes, you would want clients to return, but also you would want to get new clients, because the more clients you get, the bigger your business
Yes.
grows. Advocacy, people do advocacy their entire life. This
Yes.
is something that you cannot do off of 1 year off and you're done with it. So in 2024, what strategies are you looking at, or how are you looking to set your goals so that they are even more realistic and more attainable? But as you're sharing this, also put somebody in mind who is watching us back home, because this might be their tipping point as they are also coming up with their resolutions for the year.
So just as you've highlighted, my goals weren't exactly short term. They're long term, and for me they feel lifelong. There'll be goals I'll be pursuing lifelong, throughout my career and throughout my life. And the thing about goals is to make them, in making them attainable, is to break them down to the small little bits. And last year I found a tip that was talking about breaking down your goals from your year-long goals or decade-long goals to your year goals, and then from the year you break it down to the month, and then from the month to the week, and then down right to daily.
The day.
Yeah. So your to-do list reflects on your 10-year goals. And in taking those small steps, you'll be able to achieve those long-term goals. And it matters not what others think about what you're doing, as long as your eyes are set on the goals you're looking to achieve. It would be remiss of me to not mention the spirit of comparison. And this is when you kick it aside and you stick true to your goals and pursue them as fiercely as you can, and protect them from anyone who would be a deterror to the path you're pursuing. Those are the things I'd say. Yeah.
And then what are you setting out not to do? Because we talk so much about, oh, this is what I'm going to do, you know, I want this, I want that. But we never talk about things that we do not want to do. And then it turns out that the things that we did not talk about then are the things that we are doing.
Straight out from the last point is kicking away comparison.
Yeah.
Kicking away comparison and really remaining focused on my goals and what I am looking forward to achieving. And besides comparison with others, there's the conversations in my head. I really pray not to overthink. Hey, overthinking is detrimental, Yani.
Yeah.
Oh,
You've reminded me that meme from Uganda. Hey, I wonder. Yeah.
yes. So I will control my wonder. The wonder in my head, I intend to control it. That's one of the things I hope not to do. The overthinking and doing. Actually, my keyword for the year is execution.
Execution. Wow.
Because it sets aside overthinking, and it does. You just do. So I'm all in my Nike ear. Just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Interesting. We're coming to the end of the conversation, but before we go, you said that you are not doing comparison this year, but then it is important, or you tell me if it is, to look at what other people are doing, not to copy them, but to sort of get to learn what is the industry, sort of to some extent the industry standard, but
Yeah.
but because if you then rely so much on the industry standard, then probably you're not innovating and you're not being creative. But it is important to studying the market. What are my competitors doing? So how then differently do you look at doing that, and what would you qualify to be good comparison or bad comparison?
As you say that, I think I'd want to correct myself and say I'd be objective about the comparison,
Yeah.
because I don't know whether you've just ever walked through LinkedIn and just scrolled, and you're almost wanting to run away from the app,
Yeah.
because everyone is doing something, and you feel like you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
That kind of spirit is
I
what
stopped
I'd
updating
want to
on
walk
LinkedIn.
away.
Stopped updating on LinkedIn.
Really?
Yeah, there is a meme that I saw on LinkedIn. Not on LinkedIn. I think it was on some other social
Another app,
platform.
yes.
Yeah. And these guys were like, "Y'all are saying that Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter is depressing. Have you all tried LinkedIn? Yeah, everybody has a BMA, an MCMC,
Yes.
WEXYZ
They
in
just
something.
graduated. They just
Yeah,
got a new job.
15, 20 years of experience. When you look at the person's job, date of birth, they were born in 19, they are 2000 end kids. Yeah, but they have 15 years experience.
Yes.
And then you wonder, where did they get it from? Yeah, so LinkedIn, yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yes, now you
Yeah.
understand. That's the kind of comparison and
Yeah.
pressure I'd want to put away from
Aside.
myself.
Yeah.
But also, there's something I'm discovering, that within those spaces that you feel challenged and you feel small about your growth, most times you're not speaking about your growth as well,
Yeah.
because everyone is voicing out and they have a right to voice out.
Yeah, it's their right.
It's their right.
Yeah.
But you're also doing something. And if you're not vocal about what you're doing, their voices get louder than your voice.
Your voice. Yeah.
And you have to keep your voice louder than all the other voices that are coming in, so that you ward off that bad comparison. Let's
Yeah.
call it that bad comparison. Yeah. So there's being objective about what this scrolling is. Am I looking at what my competitors are achieving? Is this an analysis, or is this just a trip down Instagram with no objective
Yeah.
that will make me feel so awful about myself at the end of the day? So I'm crafting my social media time as well,
Yeah.
and being intentional, but it's 10 minutes, and setting timers. And once the timer goes off, I also leave the app quickly. So it makes me very,
Do timers work, honestly?
yes.
You scroll.
And it tells you 15 minutes. You're done for the day.
So what?
So
Okay.
once I get on the app, I know I have 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'll be objective about my scrolling that time, my use of the app that time. So if I know I'm looking at what's the content for World Braille Day, that is all I am going there to look for. It's like how you open a book and you're set on a certain page and a certain topic, and they give you the contents page at the front of the book, and you learn to that page exactly. I think we should be more keen to use our social media pages as we use books. Right to the forward, to the content page, and right to the page number. And once you get what you need, you're out. Yeah.
Wow. That is very powerful, because with how people, okay, let me not talk about people. With how I find myself sometimes using these social platforms, it's disheartening that I've never thought about using timers. And yes, there are times that I go on there to look at what other orgs and what other creators are doing, but most of the time I'm on there as a consumer, not to consume positively, but to pass time.
Yes.
Yeah, because most of the times it's my sort of exit strategy from when I have been doing something like a day's work. You go to the washroom and you've used
You endlessly.
yeah. You watch. By the time you're looking at the clock, you're like, okay, I've been here for the past 30 minutes. Yeah.
And I'm not innocent
Yeah.
in that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I'm drawing myself towards and learning towards that kind of discipline
Yeah.
about social media because it consumes you. You
Yeah.
might be a consumer, but then it turns and consumes you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I think one of the things that that I am setting out to do this year, and I've probably been practicing, is understanding that I have power in every situation.
Yes.
And the only thing that I have to do is get to understand what is my power in a particular situation, and I harness that power, and then I am able to wield that power in whichever direction that I would want to wield it, either positively or negatively. Because we tend to think, when it comes to social media consuming, we tend to think that all power belongs to the phone and the creator, but then we forget the phone is ours.
Yes.
Yeah, we forget that even the internet connection, it's us who have created it. If it's not there, then the phone does not have power over us. Yeah, so probably that would also link into addiction. Yeah, you are addicted to some. We might be addicted to something, and if I get it wrong, I'm okay to be corrected. But if you are addicted to something, is because you know how to get it.
Yes.
Yeah, you know how to get it. So because you know how to get it, then you will go and seek it out. Yeah, you know how to get it, and you know how to find it, and you probably can't afford to get it, so you are addicted to it. So if you are able to cut those links, if you are able to cut those veins, and then replace them or replace it with something else,
Yeah.
then you'll be able to deal with the addictions that you initially have had. I would like to call myself a good interviewer and say that I've asked you everything that you would want us to talk about. But if there is something that we've not touched base on, what would this be?
Oh. I feel you've really covered a lot of ground.
Do not give me flowers. Sorry about
Oh, Adlan.
Yeah.
Here are your first flowers of 2024.
Yay!
I believe we've covered a lot. I think what I need to say is thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you for your patience
Yeah.
with scheduling
Yeah.
and all of that. But finally, it's here.
Yeah, I realized I needed to get onto people's calendars before they get busy, because they're friends you have, and you start seeing them in high-end places, and you're like, I used to know that person. Yeah, fake friends. But
Are we circling back to that topic? We're circling back to it.
I do like fake friends, but but then, me, I will be okay whenever. It's very funny how I console myself. Yeah, if I see a person that I would call a fake friend, I would call out myself, and I'm like, have you elevated to what they're doing? And if my answer is no,
That's good.
yeah, I'm like, no, then they are not a fake friend. Actually, you are the fake friend, because you are deliberately refusing to move at the same pace that your friend is moving at.
Oh, that's a deep insight.
You get.
Yo,
Yeah.
that's a good one.
Yeah. And we would talk ourselves out of it and say we do not have the kind of access that they have, we do not have the kind of opportunities that they have. And then you're like, but you all started at the same time, then that means you dropped the ball at a particular time, or
Yeah.
at a particular point. So instead of you feeling bad about it, you can just stand up and go do something about it. Yeah.
Sure.
Not to fall where they are, but to be confident that. And that is one. Number two, what I oftenly do is, when I look at a friend who is doing better than me, and I no longer have access to them, I'm like, okay, hey, by the way, this guy these days, how they're rolling, they're out of my reach. I ask myself, are you doing something about it to be where they are at, or to be better than them? And if the answer is yes, I'm like, yeah, I could. It's only a matter of time.
Yes.
And this is also how I look at competitors. I spoke about the 5,000 subscribers that we want to have by the end of the year. I talk about them, and I'm like, are we doing something about it to get to that 5,000? And my answer is yes. Then I'm content with that. So we will strive as a team, or I will strive as a person to drive into that direction. And If I fall short, I'll be like, I tried. I
Yeah.
did what I could do in my power to achieve that. So yeah. There is a podcaster that I listen to, and this year I am not afraid of copying people and crediting them, yeah,
Sure.
or acknowledging their style. And there is this podcaster. He's called Stephen Bartlett. He's he does a podcast called The Diary of a CEO, and he has a
Yes.
culture on his podcast where he asks guests to leave questions for
The next one.
guest. Okay, okay. So
Yes, I am familiar with the podcast.
great.
I am a CEO in my own right.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm
Great.
deep in those pages of that diary. Deep.
Yeah, great. What would be the question that you would want to leave? And I hope, Mr. Director, you will also take note of this, because we tried this while we were starting, but it fell off at some time. We're not consistent, and we were stealing it from somebody else. But this year, we're going to be consistent. What question would you like to leave for the next person who will be on this couch?
So first, here's to new beginnings.
Yes.
Happy to kick this off for you. I would want the next person to answer what brings them joy in the work they do.
What brings them joy in the work that they do?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And I hope they answer beyond money. Am I now driving the conversation there already? I don't know.
You're already driving the conversation there. Yeah.
What brings them joy?
Okay. Okay. That's the question for the next person. So my question for you would be, which are the 3 must-do things this year? Leave hiking out.
Oh no!
Leave hiking out. I am
I even
present in
felt
this
my own
conversation.
eyes light up at guess what I'm going to do.
Leave hiking out, because we already you already hinted about that. I was like, she's gonna be. I need to go hiking.
Summit.
Yeah.
What I intend to do this year?
3 must-do things this year.
3 must-do things. Oh, yo. Okay, 3 must-do things this year for me or the business.
All round.
So for me, it would be. Am I ready to share this? I'm pursuing more classes around public speaking and developing that side of myself.
Yeah.
So I do hope to make an important address.
Like a TED Talk sometime.
We can count it as gold. And prayers, dear Jehovah. Yes. And especially towards what I'm passionate about, that persons with disability and their inclusion, as well as fashion.
Yeah.
Another thing would be, I really want to go back to
Hiking.
hiking.
No, that
There's
is
a
also-
keen summit I am angling towards and working towards so badly.
You could say the rest of the 2, then you could just give it as a bonus.
For the business, we hope to bring in some more people permanently, with good and fair wage payment to them.
Yeah.
Then the next thing is, I hope to do a monumental campaign larger than what we did last year with the t-shirts, but a monumental campaign around persons with disability, and have them feature more in our campaigns, in our media communication. Yes.
No, the summit.
Oh, I hope to do all of Aberdare.
Yeah.
Yes, all of Aberdare this year.
Yeah.
I've done it within like 2 summits a year, somewhere else 2 summits a year.
Yeah.
But I hope to do it all within the year.
The entire year.
And lastly,
So that's a
exploring
bonus one.
Mount Kenya's lakes. Not just the peak, the lakes.
Yeah.
The lakes are beautiful. I hope I could challenge you to probably
me and nature. I
get
think
out to one.
Yeah, the only nature that I tried to, and this year, funny thing, last year I did not do nature, because I had this habit of Saturdays going to Karura and walk or cycle,
or Nairobian.
Yeah, but I think one of the assignments should be me going. Actually, oh my goodness, I failed in 2023
What is
because
that?
one of my assignments was, or one of my resolutions was, go out more oftenly. Yeah, just be out of my house. I like my house. It's not fancy, but I just like being in that space. Yeah.
Okay.
I would go from corner to corner. I wake up in the morning, move from one corner to the other corner to the other corner, and by the time I'm getting the feeling of stepping out, it's already 6, and I'm like, okay, Alan, you mean you're about to go out of your house at 6 p.m.? It can't be me.
It's the best time.
It can't be me. I just chill in my house. I think now I will have to roll over, and this is a habit that I've had. If I had something that I wanted to do in a previous year and I was not able to do it, I roll it over.
Yes.
Yeah, because you have to stay true to yourself. Yeah, that's what I would say. Yeah, and a raft of other things that I would want to do. Yeah.
Okay. It's the first show of the year.
Yeah.
Do you want to share that with us as well?
Okay. I thought I was the one who was interviewing.
You made me ask the next guess the question, and now I'm taking over.
Yeah.
Sorry.
One of the key things, I agree with you on the team aspect. I have a team here that I work with in most of the things that we do. I look at, I'm very deliberate on developing the skills of my team. If they stay and practice those skills with me, well and good. But if they decide to go and elevate onto new spaces to practice those same skills, still well and good. But I would say that I would pride myself. I won't call them out or I won't brag about it, but I'll be happy to know that somebody else somewhere is doing good because I was integral in their development. So that is something that I'm very keen about in 2024, and also making sure that it's hard economic times, but I'm hoping that we are able to get as much business as possible. I tell them all the time, we get more business, good money for everybody. Yeah, so that is something that I'm also very deliberate on. That's from a business perspective. From also a business perspective, I am looking, and the many things that I do, one of the things that I'm very deliberate about is launching in Tanzania and Uganda. One, from a consultant point of view, even if it will be pro bono services, this
Sure.
is something that I'm very deliberate about. And even my other organization, we are looking at doing a project or two in Kenya, in Uganda, and in Tanzania.
Tanzania.
So that those are some of the big things that I'm looking at. And on a personal level, I have been seeking out to learn more. Just as you said, this is something that I'm also very deliberate on. I think when you are a leader and you are, I would say self-made, because I started in this space when I was rejected, because I initially wanted to join a particular organization, but I was so fiery they could not have me, so I decided to start my own. So most of the things
Okay.
that I've been doing in the past 3-4 years, they have been out of sheer passion. But now when you start having teams, when your operations start to grow, you realize that passion is not cutting it enough. Now you need to have the technical know-how, leave alone how you've learned on how to do things, which is very important. But now there is this technicality that now starts getting into, now you just don't have to write a report, you need to write a substance full of substance report. You just do not have to write a proposal, you just need to write a proposal that has substance in it for you to stand an opportunity to fundraise and all of that. Yeah, those are some of the key things that I'm looking to do next year, and of course going out more. I hope I will be able to achieve it this time around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I check in with you?
Yeah, we can
On that
check.
one?
Yeah, we can. Yeah, we can check in. Probably I will join you for the Abadeas. One of those crazy ones. Yeah.
Okay.
Try and see. You know, funny thing, I'm always excited to do these outdoor activities. Yeah.
And then?
Go out, and then when I go out for these activities, I exclude myself. Yeah.
Yo.
And then I start asking myself, kwani ulijambia kuja ndio kukua hivi? Yeah. There is these tendencies. And also last year I tried to go out. Like, I took myself a couple of times and I'm like, deliberately go sit on a table that you do not know anybody and just request and then start a conversation. That is the kind of going out that I want. Because I also believe and I have a feeling that it's not that I do not appreciate the networks that I have currently, but I know I need to break into new networks.
Let me break that. I did that. I challenged myself to do that last year.
Yeah.
And I did that. And I was doing it scared and
Yeah.
doing it afraid. But I did it. And it was one of my best conversations
Yeah.
of the year 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm not sort of exalting myself, but I find myself that most times my friends come to me for counsel. Yeah, for conversations. Let me not call it counsel, but for conversations. To
Guilty.
Sort
If I could count as a friend, then I'm guilty.
yeah, to sort of seek direction. But I do not have a wealth of people that I could have similar conversations with. So my obsession with going out has been the main reason, that you go out there, meet entirely new people. They tell you about what they're doing. You share what you're doing and just have a fruitful conversation. No strings attached, nothing. Then you leave that conversation and you leave it with something. Yeah, and go back home. You ponder about it. You do what you are able to do and what you're not able to do. This would be my last word. I always say that people are better than me, or people are better than us, because there is some piece of information that they know that we don't know.
Sure.
And how we can only cover that gap is by knowing what they know. And after we know what they know, then we come up with new information that they don't know and we beat them.
Okay. Why did that sound like Sparta? This is Sparta.
All right. Are we done?
That was your closing remark.
Yeah.
Could I have mine?
Okay.
So, with the new year, my word to whoever is listening or watching would be, if in the course of the year you're presented with a choice to include, choose to include. If you find yourself in a room where everyone looks like you, question why it is so, and then make a choice, a deliberate choice to include. Diversity is beautiful, and diversity enriches everyone.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have nothing to add, have nothing to subtract. No, I can't divide anything. Thank you very much for joining us for this conversation. Let us see you in the next one as we bring you another exciting conversation. And do not forget to, once again, like, subscribe, and share, and follow us across all other social media platforms. Before we go, we realized a challenge last year.
Sure.
That our channel is hard to discover in terms of searching it on the web, on YouTube and other platforms. So we are requesting people, and probably you could also have some ideas. We want to move. Our company shall still remain All Concepts, but our social media handles will have to change to something different, because we've realized that when people ask us, what is your channel, I would like to see your content, and you say All Concepts, many people mistake it for AI concepts.
Oh,
Yeah.
I get fonts and
Yeah,
typefaces.
Yeah. So if you might come up with a crazy name for a media platform, you could share that. And
We'll be
also,
christening the platform.
yes.
Hey, I like that.
Yeah. So if also you might have a name that you think will be perfect for our YouTube channel and all our other social media platforms, share it. Yeah, share it. And I hope you don't sue us for copyright.
Okay, I
Yeah.
promise.
All right, that's all. And once again, Happy New Year. And let this year bring all your weirdest dreams to reality.